channel, and here I am again. I've been streaming 30 minutes. I've been streaming 30 minutes ago with my daughter Stella B. She helped me to unpack the beautiful gourmet baskets with the seasoning mixes, with the recipes we're planning to cook. So I haven't been live streaming since probably a couple of weeks ago, or maybe since Mother's Day weekend when I went to the beach. So I missed you guys. Welcome, welcome. And this time I made my stream allowing to invite the guests. So if you see the description to this live stream, you may see a link and you can press this link and be a guest on my live stream. I have 3 viewers. Welcome, welcome. I'm Kate B. If you're first time on my channel, I live in sunny Florida. I live east of Orlando. Ольга Баути, привет, привет, Олечка. Я думала о тебе. Thank you for stopping by. So I live east of Orlando. I'm originally from Eastern Europe, Republic of Moldova. If you're first time on my channel, I'm just showing the lifestyle, the family of 5 living in east of Orlando, sunny Florida. I have 2 girls, ages 10 and 15. I'm a mom. I work full time. I raise family, I cook. My channel is about everyday life, about our trips, where we're going, how we like to travel, what we like to see, and it's about life. So today, my live stream, how can you hear me? I hope you can hear me well. So I've been thinking what I'm going to talk about this live stream. And first of all, I've been telling you that May was really busy month with a lot going on at the end of the school year, lots of activities, lots of events we had to attend. We had a commitment to attend. Love the earrings. Thank you. My friend made them. I bought them from my friend. She's an artist here in Orlando. So, but finally May is coming to the end, and it's also usually beginning of summer, and after the Memorial Day weekend, it's pretty much beginning of summer. Both of my daughters finished school. Yesterday was my oldest daughter last day, and today was Stella's last day. And Stella is 10, so she graduated last day of school. Yay, yay, thank you. Yeah, we're ready. We're done. We can finally decompress. What are you doing, Clara? Hi, what I'm doing, I live in Florida and I work in the library. I buy books for the library. I work in the big university library. So I work in the acquisition department. So I buy all the materials for the library collection for the big school, big university. Thank you for asking. So today, and I didn't come to to live stream. But today I kind of felt like it's the end of the school year. Stella graduated. We attended all the events we had to attend. There were no, like bad things happened. We survived. I made sure I took good night sleeps. I made sure I went to my Zumba class to exercise. I made sure I ate healthy. So there were 3 things that helped me survive the busy time, that helped me survive the stress of all the chores and like activities that needed to be done. But finally, everything worked out great. Stella got lots of awards. They had an award ceremony. We were so proud of her. She got all A's. She maintained all A's through the year. And we were so happy that she got called on stage among the kids who managed to maintain all A's on all subjects through the year. So she got some other awards like leadership, but enough bragging. Hi, Tushar Kumar. Welcome. Hi, welcome to the live stream. So, and again, at work, we have a very busy season too, because we close in the we close in the fiscal year, and we make sure we pay all the vendors. So it's busy time too. And at work, like what made me think what's the stream is going to be about? The stream is going to be about a little how you keep yourself organized and how you don't fall in the pit, and how you not fall in the pit to be lazy and to be helpless, and how you learn from the very early age and teach your kids to be always responsible and not to be lazy, and just try to live your life to give the most energy towards your goal and how to succeed in life. And at work, I had a couple of trainings about feedback, and it made me think how cultures where I grew up was different from the culture my kids grew up nowadays. And of course, those trainings are for corporate culture, for the professional environment where people communicate in a civil manner and where they have to have boundaries, how to talk to each other and to be civil, to be professional, to be nice, to be kind. And when I grew up, we didn't grow with that mentality. Give me a phone. Haha, you wish. Thank you, though. So I didn't grow up with the mentality that I didn't grow up in the environment that everything had to be sugar coated. But now, since I have kids who are Americans, they grow in this culture, I want to give them the best of me. And a lot of things I learned through my job. I've been in this position for 15 years. I'm a supervisor. I only have two people, two full-time employees to supervise. But as a part of that new program, like performance appraisal certification program, I had to take a couple of trainings. And some of the trainings were about coaching, and some of the trainings were about feedback. So going to these trainings, I kind of thought what new I'm going to learn, but I was surprised that I learned a lot. And I'm actually started to apply my knowledge in everyday life, communicating to my kids, so communicating with my husband, communicating with whatever. Just it's all about how you talk to people, and why, if you have people to supervise, why you try to lift them up. And even if you want to talk about mistakes, even if you want to talk about like poor performance, there are always ways to talk in a very respectful way. There are always ways to talk in being kind. This is issues. This is Russia. No, this is not Russia. I'm in the States. I like the flow and force of you. I don't know what you're talking about. Sunset Point, welcome. Hi, I have 11 viewers. I know some of you might be new. I'm Kate B, and it's about life. It's about communication. It's about uh, living in the States. It's about how to communicate and how to be a good parent to your kids, and how to bring the best in people instead of pulling them down and criticizing them. So that's why I wanted to talk to you about different differences in culture. Up until 30 years old, I've been living in Eastern Europe, in the Republic of Moldova. So from being 30 to being 47, it's solid 17 years of the American culture, and I feel more American now than ever before, because I've been growing as a person within the 17 years being in the new environment. And there was a reason that we immigrated from a different culture, from a different regime. We immigrated for better life, for better opportunities. We grew our family here. We pretty much put the roots, and we had two American kids who were first generation born in our family, born in the United States. So, how can you hear me? Can you hear me well? Thank you. Give me likes. This strong, good. I don't know what you're talking about. Okay. Visual glass. Put using the timeout. Skip games. Free bird. You look beautiful. Sunset Point. Thank you so much. Never considered myself beautiful. And again, going back to the culture I grew up, like everyone and everybody would criticize, would gossip, will be blunt, will be rude from the very early age. People would be in your face, telling you what's wrong, being mean to you. Adults were allowed to speak to other people's kids. which this culture, no, no, no. Back in the day, we can hear you very well. Thank you, Olichka. Alexander Dami. Okay. Uh, nice to meet you, Dami. Have a good day. So when you're doing the vertical stream, I was trying to invite the guest, and I put the link in the description because I was trying to get one of the vloggers I know, Lucy around 40 from California, to join the conversation with me. And the conversation will be about the weight loss, about, you know, healthy living, about eating good food. So maybe Emma Janssen, I like. Okay, so maybe if Lucy gonna pop in and she decides to join the live stream, the link is in the description. And if some of my viewers who are following me and my channel, my real viewers who I know, whose nicknames I know, I want to join, please be my guest. I'm from Eastern Europe, but I live in the United States for I've been living in the States for the past 17 years. So what I'm trying to tell you that my most adult life, I lived here from being 30 to 47. But up until 30, I lived in the culture that put a lot of, bad things on me, that forced me, the character, the qualities that I don't necessarily like now, because they never helped me in the job, they never helped me in the communication. So where I'm from, like from growing up, our parents most times they didn't praise us, they criticized us a lot, they had very high expectations. Skip games. No, I'm not from Russia. I don't think I have a lot of views from Russia because I don't think they can understand the language. But if they do, you're welcome. Anybody is welcome. I hope Lucy will join. Show your boobies. Yeah, really. That's not only fans. You you're on the wrong platform. Anyways, but living here and raising kids changed me as a person. And when I'm taking these trainings, even if I think, oh, I know that, I know this and I know that, and this is just basic communication, this is just basic respect, this is just, um, normal, like, sense of talking to people. But I still end up thinking that I made a lot of mistakes while having my previous employees, when I didn't quite give them the right feedback, that I didn't quite have courage to talk to them about not only about mistakes, but what can be improved, about my suggestions. And taking this training now, I'm coming with an open heart, an open mind, because I have new employees. And of course, I want my team to succeed. This is their first year working with me. And of course, these trainings help me to get the most out of the communication, because I will write their performance appraisals, and I'm the person to notice everything, and I'm not the person to notice only bads. I'm a person, I'm their supervisor. I want them grow in their career, I want them grow in their workplace, I want them to be happy. So as a supervisor, I don't only mark their mistakes, I don't I not only talk about their I'm not only talking about the mistakes or shortcomings or something they need to work on. I have to give them feedback on a daily basis. I have to praise them. I have to tell them exactly what they're doing good, and I have to give them feedback pretty much on the spot every day. If I notice something good, if I notice the job gets done, if they meet my expectations, if they meet the expectations of the job demands and the workflows we have. So while being on this training, you know how the trainings are, you think, oh, it's boring, they show you a video and there is a presenter showing you a slideshow and it's boring. No, this training was not boring. So first training was about coaching. First training was about coaching, What is your name? Kate. Instagram name? No, this is my real name. I'm Yekaterina, and this is Russian for Catherine, but for short, I call myself Kate. So Ekaterina, Kate is derived from this long Russian name, which is Katya or Yekaterina. But thank you for asking. It's not my Instagram name, it's my real name, Katya, Kate. Kate B. B is a part of my last name, the first letter of my last name. So it's pretty easy, Kate B. Nothing, it's not a nickname, nothing special. Boring. So about the training, first training was about coaching, and like we are like these days, everyone wants to be a coach. Everyone knows a lot of like. All of a sudden, we are bombarded with the knowledge about psychology, the knowledge about how our brain works, knowledge about emotional intelligence. All of a sudden we know a lot more than we used to know before about psychology because we watch social media, because we watch YouTube and stuff like that. But I never wanted to be anything about psychology. I never wanted to be a psychologist. I never wanted to be someone who works with people. So and the training was a part of how to be a good coach. As a supervisor, you need to learn the skills to be a good coach. And coaching is a person who is coaching, who is not, telling you what to do. Coaching is a person who is communicating with you, trying to support the interest of the person, of the coachee. So coach is pretty much a person who lifts another person up and who helps them to have faith and believe in themselves, who helps another person who he coaches to develop better skills, better, attitudes, positive mind, optimism, and stuff like that. So I thought the training will be boring, but they actually made it fun because they put us in the groups and they made little scenarios where we can practice talking to the people. Training of adults is not the easiest thing. Yeah. And it's not, coaching is not necessarily training and showing the work. A coaching is more like helping people improve, believing themselves, like improving their skills in certain areas. Coaching is more like support, and it's not necessarily the psychological things when you explain people what's going on, with their brains and why they're not smart in this situation and why they're smart. So as a supervisor, coaching people is more like how you deal with with different situations, trying to do your job professionally, but addressing the issues that people might not notice themselves, and they need improvement, or they need change of behavior, or they need to. So it was funny because I would never think that in this kind of training we're going to discuss really weird, really weird situations. For example, there was a situation when like a lot of people, the coworkers started to complain to the supervisor that the person doesn't have good hygiene, and the person coming to work and smells so bad, and people are really upset about it, but no one wants to confront the person. Nobody wants to be coming and telling the person that the person pretty much stinks and has poor hygiene. So we were laughing. We're really laughing during the training, but believe it or not, people are dealing with all sorts of situations in the work environment, and you need to know how to address it. And if it ever happens, God forbid it happens in my office, but if it ever happens, I will be equipped. I'll have a tool and motivation not to be afraid to talk to a person. So there was this little scenario how you address the issue. So one scenario was that the supervisor just got the guy in the, in like guy was working in the restaurant or something, and when he went to a supply room, another like his supervisor just followed him and told him, hey, listen, you smell bad, didn't you take a shower recently or something? And the person was really upset, and he started to confront, he started to be defensive. You don't want this reaction. You don't want to confront the person. You don't want to approach them when they're doing something, or just, will catch them by surprise. So everything they talk about in the training should be not humiliating, should be very kind, should be very professional, should be very gentle and delicate. So they showed another scenario when the guy was approaching a lady and asking her if she has a minute. He needs to talk to her in private, blah, blah, blah. So that approach, and you can see how, like you watch this video and how it plays out later. Of course, it's just a sample. Of course, real life can be so much more different, but how you deliver the message. And it's not only about poor hygiene. People can use an excessive amount of perfume and somebody can have allergy. I actually had this question on my job interview when I got a job. And I have this question on a job interview, how I'm going to deal with the person in my office who uses an excessive perfume, and other colleagues get bothered by the smell of the perfume, but they don't have courage to express their concern. And that's why, as a supervisor, how you approach the situation. And I remember being on the interview, I was surprised by that question, but they loved me and they hired me for exactly my answer. Hey, mom. I'm not your mother. What you do. So let's, I'm jumping from one situation to another, but I just wanted to mention that situations are similar. If a person smells bad and had poor hygiene, it's pretty much similar that the person smells overly good with the perfume, but some other people around in the office can be really asthmatic, or can have allergies, or can have headaches from a strong perfume. So it's all part of living in one happy, work environment. And it's all a part of, respecting the boundaries, respecting the policies and stuff like that. But if the situations like that happen, the supervisor should address it without being scared, without being upset, without any emotions that, like being, rude or being too direct. So what we learned, that this lady who needed to be approached by her supervisor about poor hygiene, maybe not, like, we don't know why people smell. We shouldn't assume that people smell because of poor hygiene. We shouldn't assume that, because we never know. We never know about their private life. We never know about their health conditions. So first of all, don't assume that right away that people have poor hygiene. They can smell for a number of reasons, blah blah blah. But as a supervisor, you have to approach this, delicate situations, being very private, being very gentle, like looking the person in the eye, giving the person some other compliment about accomplishments at work. What the heck? Yeah, what the heck, really? If somebody smells at your job, what you gonna do? Are you gonna just go and tell them, hey, dude, you need a shower? No, you can tell it to your teenage kid, but you absolutely cannot tell that in that type of voice to your coworker or your employee. So let's be civil here. We're talking about work professional environment, and we want to work with people effectively. We want to have them as a part of the team, regardless of their poor smell. So what the situation was talking about, like that guy talking to a lady, and it's especially very awkward. But if you supervise as a guy and you're a lady, and he tells you he wants to talk to in private, you kind of assume it's not something good. So that other supervisor talked to that lady in private, and he said, "Hey, listen, uh, I came across to, like some people expressed a concern, and the message was received in a very gentle and delicate way. That the lady, she wasn't defensive, she was a little surprised and upset, and but the thing is that you explain that there is always something that needs to be done, and you offer a solution rather than going and digging deep into a problem. And it's always a good course to first to give a person a compliment about their accomplishments, about what they're doing good at their job, just to lift the person up before you squeeze in a bad news. And it's probably for some people it's common sense, but I didn't know that. I grew up, as I say, up until 30-year old, I grew up in the environment. Maybe till that day you go to the store and a knucklehead, a knucklehead cash register person can tell you that, something rude, or something. So and we were laughing, but after watching this but after watching the second scenario, when the guy was very soft spoken, he had a sense of tact. You have to be very tactful. You have to, make okay, or you have to make people. Okay, I don't know what you're talking about, but welcome to my channel. Please be polite. Please be kind. Don't say rude things. We're talking about giving feedback. Please, if you don't have any positive feedback, just, swipe and go to another live stream. So that guy, he was very professional. He had a very nice tone. He wasn't agitated. He wasn't upset. He was just telling the lady, "Hey, listen, this and this, you're doing your job all right. I'm very proud how some of the tasks that you completed with like absolutely no mistakes and stuff like that. But you're slowly approaching. But there is a little concern that comes from some coworkers, and we need to address that. And don't worry, it's nothing that you can be in a huge trouble for, just to make a person a little more comfortable before delivering a bad news, like you know we don't know what it is going on, but there is an odor coming from your body that is very noticeable, and some people are bothered with that. And this causes a concern for a comfortable environment in the office for other colleagues. So that's a type of news that you can kind of explain in a nicer way, and it looks like a common sense, but at the end of the day, people don't know that. People don't deal with professional environment every day. People don't know how important it is to be nice at work, because instead of, thank you, Vera Davis, thank you, you're gorgeous. So instead of criticizing people bluntly in their face, if you want them to do a good job and be a good part of the team later, just lift them up, even with the sad conversations, even with unpleasant conversations, even addressing the issues or mistakes. Just try to respect and just try to lift them up. And of course, offer a solution. As a supervisor, you can always offer a solution. Maybe you can tell a person, take a few days off, or just, uh, just find a solution how to deal with the problem of the bad odor. Maybe a person needs to switch to different, hygiene products or something. Just try to be very respectful, and just don't be a jerk. And we laughed, of course. We kind of like hope that we never have the situations at work, but it was a good training. It was a good training. And I think, especially if you have teenagers in your house, they can be sensitive to these remarks. And as a mom, sometimes we're tired, we can snap, we can tell, oh, you stink, or your socks stink, or your feet stinks. But that's our kids, and we love them dearly, unconditionally. We're not gonna like back in my culture, everybody tell you, oh, you gain few pounds. Everybody tell you your nose is too big. Everybody tells you you're fat, or everybody tells you you're not blonde enough, or they tell you your eyes are too small, or your eyes are too big, or they call you names, they make, fun of you. And that was very common, and it always put people self-confidence really down, deep down, down, down. And that's how I grew up until 30. But now, growing my kids this in this country, in this culture, I want them to be very confident. I want them to be respected. I want them to be loved. I don't want them to suffer from jerk people who gonna tell them, like, who gonna tell them rude and, uncalled things. And that's why I'm changing myself. I'm trying to be better myself, even if it's at work environment. But if you're in work environment and you respect people you work with, you want to have a good part of the team, why don't you want to practice the same in your family? Why don't you want, you're so pretty. Thank you, Jennifer. I appreciate your feedback. So why don't you want to adopt all these techniques with professional people? Why don't you want to adopt these techniques at your own home, being a coach for your kids? Like, uh, just act in their interest, act them to lift them up, to boost their self-confidence, instead of making them gain all these complexes I had as a kid. Like, my mom would tell me rude things, and I have no idea why she would do that. Was she just simply making fun, or was she just, I don't know. But I know she loved me, but that was the culture when people just threw up things at you. And up until 40 plus, I've been thinking that I'm so ugly. Up until like 27, I thought I never will meet a good guy because I'm so ugly. But things change, your brain grows, and it depends which culture you are in. And when you're in a nice, comfortable culture, when people lift you up instead of pulling you down, you kind of start to go back, and you start to reconcile all this stupid complexes, and you understand this is not true. Whatever they told you when you were a kid, it's not really true. It doesn't matter about the looks and remarks about the looks. What matters, how big of a heart you have, how smart you are, what are your character qualities, how much love you have in your heart, what are your values. And that's what make people special. That's what makes people really, valuable and special, not the looks. But again, after 30 being, what are you talking about? Hi, welcome. Yeah, Tia Hollands. I'm talking about how not to be rude at work, and how to be a good coach if you supervise people, how to be a good coach and approach difficult conversations. And I'm talking how the knowledge you get from professional world can apply to the knowledge in your own household. How can you be nicer to your kids, especially when you have teenagers in your house? How to talk to teenagers, because it's a very vulnerable age. It's a very hard time for teenagers to accept their growing bodies, to accept the changes, to live through the puberty, to live through the brain chemicals that didn't make like necessary connections, and just thinking stupid things. So what I'm saying, that the knowledge I learn in some trainings through work, I can apply at home, because I can talk better to my kids, and I wasn't growing in the culture. My mom was very blunt. My mom would tell me things that, scarred me for life. And I forgave her. I love her. She's in heaven, and I love her and I miss her. But I never had the chance to talk to her as an adult and ask her why she allowed herself to, throw things at me that really, really put my self esteem on a very low level growing up. And of course, you know, now we have all this knowledge, and now we live in a different time, in a different environment, and we know that we teach our kids that we should treat people like they want to be treated. So if you want to be treated with love, care, and respect, we should teach our kids to treat other people with love, care, and respect. But we don't live in the ideal world, right? We don't. So we all have our moments when we are like feeling upset or feeling like not rested, not having good, emotional intelligence. So we're not like, pretty much we're not have good energy to always be good and provide good message. So they always tell you, step back if you don't want to have this conversation, this like, unpleasant conversation at work. Just step back, find a better time, find a better you know find a better mood, find a better time, and just approach it with all the steps when you deliver unpleasant mm, mm, conversation within the sugar coat and fluff, like they call it the sandwich, they call it a sandwich, the burger, whatever, where you say good things, then you put in the middle like the top conversation, and on the bottom you put the suggestions, and you move on instead of instead of rubbing instead of rubbing in, you just find the solutions, you move on, and everybody's happy. So I just lost my ending. Stick. Okay. Okay. Thank you for stopping by. So what I'm trying to tell you, why I'm always comparing the culture, what it is about, the culture. Because I came here at 30 years old, and I was probably like I lived here for 17 years, but I lived here most of my adult life. And when my kids were born, I had no clue, how I'm going to be as a mom. And of course, like I'm still coded to be, genetically, I'm coded to be a part of the culture I grew up. And of course, I make some mistakes that my parents made. What's 2000 plus? I have no idea what you're talking. I have no idea. 720 minus minus 725. Minus 725. So step back if you can. Yes, yes. So sometimes, you receive an email and you get super mad. So I didn't know that, but if you're in the moment, you're super mad about the email, just take a 5-minute walk, and it helps tremendously. You come back and you don't feel that urge to fire out something bad. And I didn't know that because I've been always very emotional and impulsive person. And when I read a nasty email I don't agree with or I'm mad about, I want to fire away and shoot back a reply right away. No, step back for 5 minutes and you will see even 5 minutes will make a difference. Just walk around the block, walk from like like the first floor to the fifth floor, like from fifth floor down to the first floor. And you'll see that, you know, your urge to reply in a, in a not like pleasant manner will go away. And for me, it wasn't that obvious because when I have smaller kids and I had like a lot going on, and I wasn't always rested, and I wasn't always pleasant and sweet at work, I would just sit there and be so stressed that I feel like I don't have time to get up for this, nonsense walk. But now I realize that emotional intelligence is a part of the game, emotional intelligence, it's a part of the game. You can be furious all the time. You can be a jerk all the time. And, there are good days, or bad days, and everybody's like, life is not easy, and everybody has their own problems, like besides work. So if you can't fix another person, just fix yourself and fix your attitude first. You're not going to fix another person, and you don't have, it's not your job to fix another person. Just fix your reactions. But it took me so many years and so many like tough situations at work just to realize that don't be a jerk, don't be furious. You can deliver a message in a very sugar coated manner, but this message will be to the point. And people not gonna tell you, oh, she's a stressed bitch who is sitting like in her cubicle and thinking she knows it all and like freaking out at every little thing, they're gonna think, oh wow, she's cool. Even when she's pissed, she's keeping her cool. So it took me a while and it took me like trial and error to learn that. But it's this knowledge is already in place. Like there are so many, like we're allowed to take LinkedIn courses, and I'm taking a lot of new LinkedIn courses about communication skills, about feedback, about one-on-one conversations, about performance appraisal, about like lifting people up, and you know so, and I have to confess that I've been a jerk a lot of times, but I didn't realize it. So I have, uh, I still am in the same place. Now I have new employees. I want them to succeed and I want them to be happy around me in my unit. And that's why I can't change them. I can't change their skills. I can't change their attitude. I can't really change their set of their qualities. But what I can change is my reaction and my communication to the people. And maybe, my style of communication will help them fix their own problems. That's what I'm saying. Your voice is so relaxing. Oh, no, I'm a stress ball most of the times. But thank you, Jennifer. I really appreciate your feedback. Can I join Sylvia? Yeah. You want to join? Or what you would like to talk about? What you like to chime in about? Just send me a brief comment what you want to talk about, Sylvia, and where you from. Do you see the link? Does the link work? I've never had a guest in my live stream, but that would be a very interesting experience if you can join and express something that you like on the topic of communicating at work in a civilized and respectful manner. Yeah, try to join. Try to see if the link in the description works. Welcome. So what I'm trying to say that for a long time, yes. Okay, try to join the link and we'll hear you. We have 11 viewers. Thank you for sticking in with me. So what I'm trying to say, good morning, beautiful Muna. Good morning, it's evening here. So what I'm trying to say that I always thought, oh, those trainings are so boring. Yes, they may be boring, but also if you even learn one thing, if you learn one tool or technique, how to deal with the communication problems, you can apply it not only at work, you can apply it with your friends, you can apply it at home, we can apply it with your loved ones, and of course it improves the quality of your life. But I'm little. How did you become so sexy? Juice 33. Hide views on this channel. Olga, it depends on situation. In my area of knowledge, we often seem to be rude, too straight, or etc. Too straight, because 1 minute can ruin the whole process. We often say things in face, and afterwards we will have talk. Oh, okay. I'm a kid. Okay, Sylvia. No. If you're a kid, you're not allowed to join the stream. Sorry. Your voice is so relaxing. Thank you, Jennifer. I think I read it before. Yes, Olga, you're right. And I agree. It depends on situation. But, I also kind of want to explain. I work in a less strict environment. I work for more like you can consider it state employee. So we work for the state. It's pretty much like the government job, like it's a different setting. It's not a corporate demanding setting. So a lot of things are not as time sensitive in our area, and there are less risks of messing up involved in my area, in my offices. And that's why the techniques they tell us might not apply at your job. And I know that your job is very demanding and it's very precise lab work or whatever you deal with. You might deal with chemicals or you might deal with hazardous materials. And if a person needs a straightforward feedback right now, uh, you don't have to wait until you cool down. You fire away right away because you want to protect the person from damaging something or from hurting themselves or hurting other people around. So of course, if it's like a threatening situation or it's a risky situation, you have to be very straightforward, direct, blunt, but it doesn't mean you have to be rude or like screaming, oh, you're a jerk, you just spilled this like acid right on the floor. You understand, it still have to be a respectful way, even if the message delivered in a straightforward blunt manner and say, excuse me, like this shouldn't be spilled on the floor, it's very dangerous or something. So it's all about the tone, it's all about our own capability and skill to address it, to hold up like the emotion, to express the tact, and I agree, when you're a doctor and you're operating a person and your nurse mess up and give you a wrong instrument, and the life might be of the patient might depend on this stupid nurse, like, sorry, like it's too far again, I'm like going. uh, of course the doctor can scream at the nurse, and of course the environment can be so much different from the work we are doing, when it's like we are more paper pushers, and it's nothing, nobody gonna die, there are no risks of dealing with hazardous chemicals or something. So there is no like at the pharmacy, you can't really you have people who are dispensing. So these people needs to know what they're doing, but their supervisor shouldn't scream at them. They should, be nice about it, because if you scream at the person and the person gets upset, who knows how the person can screw up after being screamed at. So we love you, and you please say happy birthday, Rose. Happy birthday, Rose. Scarlett, can you please say happy birthday to my sister Rose? She's such a big fan. Thank you, Scarlett. Thank you, Rose. Happy birthday, Rose. I hope you have a great, great birthday, and good wishes for the rest of the year. Get your point, and from your side, you're completely right. It is nice to have a good work environment. Yes, yes, and you know what I noticed, like we always sacrifice. People who have more responsibility have like better career opportunities and higher incomes, right? But your responsibilities are going to be like way more than mine. So you always balance between where you want to work, what career you want to choose, what uh, do you want to choose quiet environment and happy-go-lucky people, paper pushers sitting in the state office, making like 3 times less than the person who works in the corporate demanding world with the 12-hour shifts, where he has always to be on their toes, not messing up and a big screwing up, like uh, that's what we have to teach our children. It's a choice. Do you want the profession with less responsibilities and less income, or do you want a profession you have career opportunities, but you're gonna have all this maybe extra work and stress, and sometimes building your career you might plan to be away from your family or something. So you always teach the kids to make sacrifices, whether you can't have it all, right? So I don't make a lot of money, but at least I don't bring stress home. Like the minute I close my office door, I forget what was happening during the day and what is going to happen tomorrow. I forget because I go and I live my life. I don't bring stress home. I'm not too tired. I'm not too distracted. But if you ask me how much money I make, I don't make so much money that, um, that I can afford some things you may afford, with your salary. So it's always give and take. It's always sacrifices, and it's always a choice. What you want to pursue. You want to pursue career. You want to pursue your mental health and whatever, or you want to balance between being a good parent, sacrificing maybe a little bit your income or your career opportunities, and uh, raise kids when they really need you first time, like 10 years. So it's all about personal choice. And of course, corporate world. And when we're talking about big money, big projects, and when we're talking about corporate world, which all about efficiency, which all about how much money you make, which all about deadlines, which all about stress of all these demands of the industry. Of course, we're talking about situations where you can't be sugarcoating and happy-go-lucky and just make everybody comfortable. So I know why they're giving us these trainings, because sometimes they don't pay as much, but sometimes people don't have, don't deal with stupid situations. Like sometimes I think, well, are we working with the kindergarteners, or like third graders, or we working with adults? Why are they giving us all this information? It should be common sense for adults. But we don't live in the ideal world. We have at work, we are so different. We're so diverse population. We have like all kinds of clashes. We have like age clashes, age gap, generational gap, when we don't understand each other. We have so many other cultural, like we have background gaps. Like I'm from the culture where people were rude, and I was okay with that, because I built a thick skin, and I thought, well, I built a thick skin. But until 30 years old, when I experienced other, when I experienced other treatment, like nice, respectful treatment, I didn't know that I lived in a bad world. So it all comes with understanding that the life is not perfect. Life is never going to be perfect. Do you like croissant? Yeah, I do like croissant. And I like Nutella on my croissant. Hi, twins. Welcome. Hi. So we don't live in the ideal world, but I think uh, I think if we have control, like right there at the moment, to talk to people in a respectful way, we should do that. And especially especially to your loved ones, especially in the work environment, because you planning to work there and build your career, so you want to be there, and you don't want to be working with enemies. You want to be working with some type of good team, friends, or like people who are on the same page. So I think it's important for people to know how to adapt to different situations, to be flexible, to be open-minded, not to think of themselves too much. Just be humble. I'm not a humble person. When I came from, when I came from Moldova, I thought I know it all. I thought I'm like, I have like big goals. I thought but life put me in my place. And I don't want my kids to be overly self-confident, and I don't want my kids to feel on themselves smart jacks that never have to work hard. I want my kids to be humble and know that you can't know it all. You still have room to improvement. Somebody still can be more successful and more kind than you, and it's always room to grow. And when I grew up, my mom had high expectations. But you know what she said? She put me against other kids, and I didn't like that. I never put my kids against anybody else. I always tell them, be a little better than you were yesterday. But I remember all the stupid things from my childhood, and I do amends now. I feel that I've done a lot better work with my kids, understanding that we don't answer with violence to violence. We try to find a solution. We try to find people who can help you, but I don't teach my kids to be physical. Back in the day when I grew up and somebody told me, oh, he pushed me in the playground, and what, like most of the parents, my mom would say, hey, next time push him even harder. We don't teach that, my kids here. We try to be more civil, we try to be more respectful, we try to be more empathetic. We never know what other kids go through, what their situation might be. These days, there are a lot of kids with emotional issues, with developmental issues, and we have to respect that. We have to teach our kids, hey, listen, we don't know what this guy going through. Just be supportive. Just, if you're not happy, don't fight. If you cannot address the issue in a nice way, just go talk to your teacher. Go talk to an adult. Go talk to a person who has a little more authority than you do, because it's tough. It's tough these days. So what I'm trying to say, that the trainings help me a lot, but nevertheless, it all sounds happy-go-lucky. um, i still think that I still think that you can't be nice 100%. You can't be nice 100%. So after the training, I had situation at home, like literally, like the next day after the training, something happened about the feedback. So my daughter expressed a concern, and just like what I learned in class, I was able to apply right away with my own kid. And oh God, it works. So they never taught us back in the day. And again, I'm talking about Soviet culture. I'm talking about communism regime, when everybody pretty much had to be a gray mass. Everybody has to comply and not to be individual. Everybody had to be like pretty much the same. There was in like you can be really too smart, or like you have to be a gray mass. So back in the day, and what about feedback? Like you can't, like, even if your kid thinks, expresses a concern, as an adult, you have to step back, reflect, and you know explain to your kid, and if you're wrong, apologize. So back in the day, the adults never apologized to kids, and that drove me crazy, because I had a conflict at school when a teacher called me in front of the class, called me a traitor, and because of the situation she wasn't sure about. But it was so bad, and I felt, as a kid, I felt, as a teenager, I felt so miserable that the teacher called me a traitor in front of the whole class. But when the situation got improved a little bit, no, first of all, I asked her to apologize. I asked her to apologize, and she said, no, I will never apologize. So I remember how bad it was for me emotionally back when I was a teenager. And I know my kid's going through a lot of things right now. My older daughter is a teenager. She's 15, so she's very sensitive. My young daughter is 10, so she's looking up to her sister, but she's also, has to look up to me as a role model. So I learned this thing. And even at work, even where you are, like anywhere you are, it's easier to apologize for your actions. It's easier to apologize for your actions and own your own mistakes and move on, even with the situation with the kid, even if you're the authority. It's so much better to learn how to apologize and move on, rather than, it's so much better to own your mistakes rather than just going into a deeper confrontation, going into a deeper conflict, burying yourself in the emotions, getting aggressive, getting violent. It's so much better in any situation to own your mistakes. If you hear the opponent, if you hear, especially your kid, if your kid is overlap sad, if your kid gives you a valid point, you were not right in that situation. And it's better to apologize and say, okay, I can make mistakes, I own my mistakes, I promise you that I'll try not ever to make that mistake again. So and it's, for some people, it can it can, like, the things I'm saying, it can be common sense. Guess what? It wasn't common sense to me until I was 40 plus, until I deal with the with my own children who are growing in this busy, crazy environment of new technologies, of so much knowledge at your finger, tips, with so much internet, with so much people, and with so much opinions, with so much resources. Your kids can be way smarter than you are, and your kids can teach you lessons every day, life lessons, communication lessons. And even if they're kids, even if you have this, like, you feel that you're in charge of them, you feel responsible for their well-being, for their safety, for their development, even if you're responsible for them and you are authority to them, even then you have to learn as a parent how to step back, reflect, apologize, and move on, because back in the day when I asked my mom, like, oh, you mean, like, you have to apologize for that, or something, she would say, who are you, little stinker? I wouldn't apologize to you. You're just a little stinker. You have to listen to me, or something like that. And we didn't grow up with that, with we didn't grow up in a very respectful environment. So now it's the time for me personally to grow, because my kids are going to be human beings who might become doctors, who might become, like, very smart people, and future going to depend on them. My old years might depend on them. So I better invest good qualities into them now. I better admit my mistakes. I better admit that I'm a human and I'm still learning. I'm still in the process of being better than I was yesterday. So maybe they have a good role model how to, how life works. You cannot know everything. You cannot be perfect every day. You cannot be happy go lucky every day. Life is not going to be all honey and bells and whistles and, whatever, satisfying every day. Life is going to be tough. Life is going to be a lot of work. Life is going to be a lot of emotional labor. Life is going to be a lot of like work, earning your income, like providing for yourself, like supporting yourself financially. So we should tell our kids, even we are not, even we are not, how you say it, even we try to be perfect parents, but we never be perfect parents. And we can explain to our kids, we're gonna make mistakes until we die. We're gonna make all sorts of mistakes until we die. But it's always good to reflect on your mistakes and say, hey, if I mess up, I own it, and I'll find the ways to improve. I'll find the ways to move on, and I'll find the ways to, mend up, and that's what, that's what life skills about. That's what, intellect is about. That's what emotional intelligence is about. Okay. Okay. I think, and that was the topic about my training for coaching. Another training was about feedback, and feedback and coaching, they went kind of hand in hand, because feedback, it was more about being in the moment, telling people about their good work in the moment, and also the feedback, if people need to improve something, it also have to be in a timely manner. It's also have to be suggestions how to improve something rather than criticizing. And giving feedback, and of course we're talking about supervisor, we're talking about supervisor and employee. But again, supervisor, employee, you always have to remember, employee doesn't ask you advice necessary. Employee asks you to give facts about their performance, right? The facts, the things you observe, the things like how you deal with the results of their, completing their tasks and stuff like that. So we're talking about supervisor. We're not talking about the personal attitude here. We don't talking about like how you like the person, or how the person dresses up, or how the person, I don't know, have have a private life. We're talking about giving a feedback about the part of the job, about the part of the accomplishments at work, about the, the part of their work ethic, about the part of their tasks done. So feedback, and again, they have all these techniques when you have to use, when you have to use positive, and then you have to use the if you criticize a person, it shouldn't be, it should be, how you call it, constructive criticism. It should be something that you suggest, or you ask person to suggest to improve what they can do a little better. And they had an example, and again, I was always afraid to give the bad feedback. And you should see, when it was time for performance appraisal for my previous employees, I will always put the highest. For the performance appraisal, I was always putting the highest, like the best things about them. And when it comes to like what are the employees like, things they have to improve, I would put not applicable, not applicable. I regret that, because I would be upset with something, but I would never address it. And that was my mistake. And now I learn, even if you see something, like something small that bothers you, you have to find a nicer way to tell your employee to improve it, rather than just closing your eyes and giving them perfect feedback. You know, nothing is perfect. Again, you just need to work on finding the ways to send the message, and lift the person up, offering improvement instruments or something, or offering improvement suggestions. Okay, so again, don't assume that you know it all. Any profession, any job level, any position you have in a hierarchy, in an organizational chart, don't assume you know it all. It's always a room to get an extra knowledge. It is always the room to improve yourself, your reactions, your attitude, whatever, your communication skills. So that's it for today. I guess I'm getting a little tired. I think my daughter just stopped by to tell me that, they brought some food and I didn't have dinner yet. So today my husband cooked with a credit card. And we had a very, very busy month of May. Finally, the school is over. So tomorrow we're traveling again to meet our friends in our beautiful um, Sarasota. It's a little town south of Tampa on the west coast of Florida. So again, we're going to for 2 nights to stay in a beautiful hotel, hang out with our friends, go shopping, eat good foods, go to see the sunset, be on the beach, and just recharge and relax after this busy school and schedule. And I'm very excited, and I'm very grateful for everything I have in life, and I'm very blessed. And thank you for this live stream, and thank you for being there and let me express myself, let me talk to you, reflect on things I learn every day, reflect on my parenting, reflect on my well-being, reflect on my mental health and stuff like that. So thank you, my dear viewers. I hope you all have great weekend. This weekend is a long weekend in the United States. There is a Memorial Day on Monday when we all remember our fallen, and we thank our veterans and fallen veterans. So I'm really happy to have an extra day off on Monday. And it's the beginning of the summer for my kids, and I hope they have a great summer. They're going to be busy. I have a great news to share. My older daughter got a job in the gymnastics club we belong to, and this is her first paid job. Yes, she's 15 and she got a summer job. and she's going to make $12 an hour. And I'm very, very proud of her because she's going to learn a lot of real job skills, being disciplined. She's going to work in the summer camp. She's going to teach and help the coach to teach little kids gymnastic skills. And she's 15 and her first real job. And actually, sorry, I'm bragging, but it's just the success of my kids. It's a part of my own success in life. So she got the job, but while she was training, she earned some money too. So she got her first paycheck yesterday, and it was $96. I'm really happy for her. She made her first real money having a real job for a nice organization teaching kids gymnastics. So we're gonna celebrate. And my other daughter graduated fifth grade elementary school with so many awards. So I'm gonna treat both of my girls this weekend. So we're very happy to go and hang out with friends and have a great weekend. Hope you have a great weekend too. Thank you for letting me vent. Thank you for letting me brag. Thank you for being my devoted viewers. Thank you for your comments. Please don't be shy. Leave me the comments. Leave me the feedback. Try to be positive. Try to be kind. If you can be kind, that's okay. I'm still learning how to react to bad comments too. So thank you. Thank you for supporting my channel. I love you all. Have a great weekend. Bye bye, KB. Bye bye. Love you all. Good night.